So, Franco here from Frank Analysis, and I'm here to talk about Tulsi Gabbard and how she can just never win with a lot of progressives. A lot of progressives have not only Trump derangement syndrome, but they also have Tulsi derangement syndrome. Whenever she does something great, they're completely silent about it. They don't say anything about it. They never praise her. But as soon as she does one little thing that can be critiqued, they highlight it and they exaggerate it to a point of ridiculousness. So Tulsi Gabbard made a tweet 10 days ago in which she said banning ballot harvesting is not a partisan issue. It's been used and abused in states like North Carolina and California and is ripe for fraud. That's why I introduced H.R. 8285, the Election Fraud Prevention Act, with Rodney Davis to protect the integrity of our elections and our democracy. So for people who don't know what ballot harvesting is, this is when a third-party individual can fill out your ballot for you or mail in your ballot for you. The problem with that is that sometimes this third-party person can have bad intentions. They may or may not be working for the opposing candidate's campaign, and they could change the results, or they may never even deliver the ballot. And sometimes people pay others to fill out their ballots for them or to deliver their ballots for them. So Tulsi Gabbard has been really great when it comes to election integrity. She introduced the Securing America's Election Act. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of progressives completely ignored it, probably didn't even know it existed. Bernie Sanders didn't support it. Instead, he supported Amy Klobuchar's election integrity bill, which didn't even do anything to ban the corporate monopoly on voting machines, which can easily be hacked. So I do want to give a shout out to some channels that did talk about Tulsi Gabbard's recent election integrity bill, like Israel of Big Talk Little Talk, Pasta and Fiorella of the Convo Couch, and Nico House of the MCSC Network. Now, just yesterday, or 2 days ago, if you're watching this the day that I upload this video, Tulsi Gabbard put up this tweet. She said Project Veritas offers further evidence of the need to ban ballot harvesting. It's not a partisan issue. It's been abused to help both R&D candidates, including in North Carolina and California. Please help by telling your congressional rep to pass our bipartisan bill, H.R. 8285. And then she retweeted her tweet from 10 days before that. Now, people like the TYT crowd, like David Dole, they immediately jumped on it because she was citing Project Veritas. Project Veritas is a right-wing group. It's a right-wing journal outlet. And the video that Tulsi Gabbard was referring to was one in which was showing evidence of ballot harvesting happening to help Ilhan Omar. Now, in that video, people were getting paid for their ballots to be filled out and dropped off. It's legal in some states, but it shouldn't be because there's a lot of potential for voter fraud. Like I mentioned earlier, people can easily change what you have on your ballot or they cannot deliver it. So Tulsi says that Project Veritas provides evidence for the need to ban ballot harvesting. So is this an objectively false statement? Should we not do anything about ballot harvesting? Look, just because you disagree with their right-wing ideology, which is filled with a bunch of stuff that is easily debunkable, it doesn't mean that they're never right. For example, this group exposed how ABC covered up and how MSNBC ignored evidence in the Epstein case since 2016. And then outlets that are criticizing Tulsi Gabbard right now, like Crystal Ball of the Rising, are criticizing her now.
All right, Sagar, what are you looking at?
Well, Project Veritas released some footage yesterday. Project Veritas.
She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was
Defendant.
Yep. Yep.
They don't
I
care.
mean, and don't forget that detail from Ronan Farrow's story, alleged detail, let's say, where at the time that Ronan was doing this reporting on Harvey Weinstein, he was also trying to get a sit down with Hillary Clinton about to get your little tidbits and get your big sit downs and, you know, go to your cocktail parties, then it's all good. And we should say, look, this is, and this is what I said when we were talking about the Ronan Farrow allegations as well. Yes, this is about NBC News, but it's about so much more than that.
It's way bigger than
because it's so.
She also just cited the video. She just cited the video. She didn't say anything to praise them. She wasn't uplifting them. She gave them credit, which there's nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong with giving them credit for showing evidence. It's so funny how she said this shouldn't be a partisan issue, and then people go out and start treating it like a partisan issue just because she mentioned Project Veritas. Oh my gosh, people seriously have this black and white lens of the world, and many Tulsi hating progressives have this. They ignore nuance. They see a right-wing organization is cited by Tulsi Gabbard, and then they just because it's right-wing, they discredit everything about it. Nothing can ever be accepted from this right-wing organization, even though people like Crystal Ball have discussed some of their reporting before, like with the Epstein case. Rather than focusing on ballot harvesting itself, people are focusing on her mentioning Project Veritas. And then when she introduces legislation to protect election integrity, these progressives are completely silent. So I guarantee you that 99% of the people who are bashing Tulsi right now on Twitter, they've never even watched the Project Veritas video, and they probably have never even heard of Project Veritas until they saw other people in their echo chamber, in their Rose Twitter echo chamber, bashing Tulsi. And they're like, okay, I should bash Tulsi also. It's been going on since last year. People saying that they're canceling Tulsi Gabbard. They're canceling her again. How many times do these same people have to cancel her? So these progressives that are following a herd behavior from others on Rose Twitter, you know what that makes these people? It makes them just as bad as pro-establishment liberals when it comes to critical thinking. All you did was switch teams. You switched to the pro-Bernie / AOC-esque team. In the end, you're still a biased actor, and you're not seeing things objectively. Election integrity and being against ballot harvesting shouldn't be a partisan issue. It doesn't matter where the source comes from. And if you want to criticize Project Veritas and saying that everything that comes out of there should be completely ignored, why aren't you using that same argument for the New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN and MSNBC when they propped up Russiagate and when they propped up WMDs? These are all conspiracy theories. But then you go ahead and you cite them when you talk about the Afghan papers and Trump's tax returns. And then without knowing, you talk about how ABC covered up evidence from the Epstein case since 2016. How are we supposed to progress if we're this backwards, if we're this attached to binary thinking and bias? You don't have to follow the crowd just because they're attacking a certain person. And then the same people who are saying that Tulsi Gabbard is auditioning to be on Tucker Carlson for Fox News are these same people that were saying that she is auditioning to be Biden's VP pick. Which is it? Is she a hack for the DNC, for the Democratic establishment, or a hack for the Republican establishment? So my advice to all you guys is don't be a follower, don't be a sheep. Be a critical thinker when you see that the popular thing to do is to just bash on somebody. Detach yourself from preconceived notions, and that'll help you be less of a reactor and more of an analyzer.